Between American cartoons, Japanese anime, and 3D CGI films, it's clear to see just how far animation has come. Computers have realized visions that were once inconceivable to the minds of creators and too impractical to make it past a drawing board, let alone an animatic. After all, there are certain innovations to a medium that can only come with a century's worth of familiarity. An evolution that gradually takes place with the changing of machinery, the changing of the audience, and the growing ambitions of the animators. Factors like these are what take us from the short theatrical cartoons of the past to the story-driven animated series of the present. There's simply no doubt that animation is more capable than ever before. But in the wake of this capability, many today would believe that the first era cartoons lacked in creativity, as if the achievements of prior days were nothing more than forgettable bricks in the baseline, a foundation set but easily removed by newer and more important milestones. After all, today we are set by no limits. How could something bound by them, and so many of them for that matter, ever hold to a candle to something that isn't? However, despite the limits of the time period, the first era of cartoons shows a trailblazing gumption to expand what it has and work within its limitations. Between the innovations in animation techniques, the willingness to portray bizarre subject matter, their surrealism, and the cleverness to work within restraints, cartoons of the 20s and 30s prove that their pivotal strength was creativity. The first animated film to be made was Phantasmagorie, which was created by a French artist by the name of Emile Cole. The film consists of 700 drawings. These drawings were originally filmed as black lines of white paper, but the negatives of the photos were reversed, giving it a chalkboard-like look with light lines in a black background. Within the film, a variety of random events are thrown on the screen, a sequence going from fishing, sword fighting, elephants transforming into houses, and much more before concluding with the protagonist riding away on a horse. Other cartoons with more complex gags would follow suit, such as Gertie the Dinosaur, a film that shows a dinosaur cartoonishly eating trees and interacting with live film of the animator telling her to perform tricks for the audience. These films imitated trick genre films, and mostly just showcased the magic of animation itself. It wasn't until the era of rubber hose cartoons that the animation of the time period could really flex its magic. Most animators at the time originally worked as comic strip creators. This came with certain problems. A simple search of comic strips of the time period will present detailed caricatures of people. They maintain a certain simplicity to them, but to translate such designs to film would still present a particular complexity. Instead of producing such detailed art, animators prioritized fluidity over realism. Characters would be animated almost boneless, with limbs comparable to that of a rubber hose, hence the name rubber hose animation. This saved an imperative amount of time and money. However, such innovation would be rather unremarkable if it ended there. Unfortunately, it doesn't. This style, brought out by necessity, allowed more creativity. Animators took full advantage of the freedom it allowed, and animated with the mindset that in a cartoon, anything is possible. Another interesting aspect of rubber hose animation is its reference to dark subject matter. So many memorable cartoons of the time period were characterized by how they portrayed mortality. Even studios like Disney had no problem getting involved in cartoons that showcased hell itself, giving us surreal, creepy, borderline terrifying imagery such as this. After all, rubber hose animation is rooted in the Great Depression, and one look at the settings and the backgrounds makes this very apparent. Without any sort of censorship or a target audience, animators were able to spill out onto the page exactly how they felt. And ultimately, that's what separates rubber hose animation from everything else that comes after it. It occupies a weird space in history where certain techniques and ideas feel foreign to us now are commonplace, and therefore give rubber hose animation a certain aesthetic that is unlike anything else.